Congratulations if your bids were successful. These are the results for the August 15 auction. We can see that for the 2 years we had 15.5%, for the 3 years we had 15.5%. It's quite amazing that we had the same percentage for the 2 years and 3 years, meaning that those who bought a 2-year bond and those who bought a 3-year bond, there was no difference in terms of percentages. So if you had a way, it would have been better to just go for a 2-year bond, because you are not being compensated for the extra 1 year that you are putting in a 3-year bond. We see that the 5-year bonds were at 18%, the 7-year bonds were at 18.5%, the 10-year bonds were at 19%, and of course the 15-year bonds were at 20.2%. What is amazing about this is that when you look at the July auction results, if you look at the July auction results, you see that the rates have maintained. Nothing has changed. Let us look at the amount that the government offered. As you can see, the government was only looking for 1,800 million. For the 2-year bonds, the government offered 320 million, but of course the bids were only 178. For the 3-year bonds, the government offered 360 million, but the bids were only 165. You can clearly see that these two tenures are not very popular and they were not oversubscribed. Now, what shocked me in this particular auction is the appetite for the 5-year bonds. If you look at this, the government only offered 370 million, but guess how much was the bid value? 708, meaning that the 5-year bond was more popular compared to others. Why do you think this is so? Share your comments. I would like to hear from you. For the 7-year bond, the government only wanted 260, but the bid value, of course, was 357. There was an oversubscription there. Same applies to the 10-year bonds and the 15-year bonds. So you can clearly see that most investors are going for 5 years, 7, 10, and 15-year bonds, and not so much of the 2 years and the 3-year bonds. In our discussion, I would like you to share your thoughts. Why do you think this is so? The other thing I would like you to look at is the fact that the government only wanted 1,800 million, but it allocated more than that. Why do you think this is so? Well, it means that the government is currently enjoying these rates, and as such, it is willing to offer more. That is also an opportunity for us investors to continue investing more, because we know that the government, in terms of allocation, they would allocate more than what they wanted. Do you think these rates are good for you? Let me hear your thoughts. I would also want to hear from you in terms of your reasoning. I'd like you to maybe just comment. Why do you think the July and August rates are the same and there is no difference? So I'd like to hear that from you. The other thing that I'd like us to look at is the allocation. You can see that for the 5-year bond, the government only needed 370, but it allocated much more than that, almost double what it actually wanted. And of course, there was an over allocation for the 15-year bond, and also an over allocation for the 10-year bond. That applies as well for the 7-year bond. I would also want to find out from you, which tenure did you go for? Did you go for the 2-year bond or the 15-year bond, or something in between? So let us just discuss that. In the next episode, in our mentorship session, we are going to look at how you can retire using government bonds. In our session, I'm going to do some calculations using these rates. We want to see how much you can make in reality if you invested whilst the rates are like this, so that whenever you are investing, you can do that with confidence. I don't expect the rates to change that much as we get into September and October. I expect the rates to remain in the same range, between 15.5% and 20.2%. We might have a minus 0.5 here, or a minus 0.5 here, a plus or minus 0.5, but mostly in your budgeting, you can think in terms of this range. This is becoming like the market rate when you look at the bond market. For those who are bidding competitively, I'll be doing one-on-one sessions with you to share with you my ideas. For now, I'm focusing on those that are bidding non-competitively. I'm just giving them ideas on how much they should expect to make, or how much percentage rate they should expect whenever they are doing their calculations for government bonds, or how much they'll make whenever they invest in government bonds. Which bonds should you go for in the next tenure? If you are using the 1000 bond strategy, you go for the 15-year bond or the 10-year bond. If you are concerned with inflation, go for the 7-year and 5 years bond. If you are worried about liquidity, you want your money back, just focus on the 2-year and 3-year. If you want to learn more about treasury bills and government bonds, what you do is follow my WhatsApp channel. I'll be going in detail to talk about how you can maximize your returns and minimize your risks when it comes to investing in treasury bills and government bonds. These results which we are looking at right now, they are for government bonds only. Later, I might look at treasury bills. Happy investing. If you've got any questions, don't hesitate to contact me on my WhatsApp number if you've got any questions, and then we'll see how we can address that.